For me, global mobility is about looking at talent management of employees from one location to another. It is part of the talent strategy for a company. Global mobility has logistics, which is relocation, immigration, looking at the compliance, making sure that somebody is legally allowed to go to a country and work there with their families living there. But actually, for me, global mobility is also about the talent management. How do we make sure that we have the right people moving from one location to another, that they're going to be successful in their new location? And as professionals in this field, we have all the resources, the knowledge, and the experience to be able to advise the business on that. And global mobility is including the talent management part, the help with talent acquisition, and of course the logistics to move somebody from one location to another.
The relationship between HR and mobility is absolutely essential and critical, and it's been something that in my career I've really advocated in keeping that connection. Sometimes it's requiring, being the one to actually knock on doors and break down those barriers. But it's absolutely critical that we are really a one HR, and we're working really closely together, and we understand what programs and strategies are putting in place and the impact that might have on employees that fall under the global mobility policy. So I think continuing to really strengthen those relationships is critical. I'm thinking about the recruitment organization and how important it is to work with them as they're trying to find talent around the world, and helping them understand the immigrations or the implications and the limitations from an immigration perspective, and trying to get those candidates, particularly in a current coronavirus environment, and probably for a number of months still to come. So it's really important that we're in really tight connection and understand what's happening from a recruitment perspective. Obviously, with payroll, as we're trying to set up individuals working remote from new locations, ensuring that we have payrolls in place in those new locations and countries is also really critical, as well as really not just connecting and very closely staying in touch with the broader HR community, but I think other departments and teams outside of HR. And one that comes to mind really closely is the risk and security teams, as well as the tax team.
It's a dynamic environment when we need to be constantly on top of everything, because as I said, dynamic environment requires a lot of dynamic decisions. And for us, it's a chance, but it's an opportunity, but also it's a huge challenge. How to be on top of everything and make sure that we are capturing all changes or all challenges from all possible angles. Taxes, immigration, social security, relocation, from employee perspective, from employer perspective. So that's very exciting area, but requires certain type of people who are ready to go an extra mile to provide the best quality services, because at the end of the day, we are not dealing with a business. We are not dealing only with money. We are dealing with a person who is moving from one country to another. So there is huge personal touch in this industry, which should be understood by global mobility professionals, but we are not doing this only because of some legal requirements from the company. No, it's more that we are doing this for the employee and his family to settle down in a new country and make sure that they are safe and everything has been properly accessed. So for me, global mobility means, for global mobility professionals, like an exciting area of expertise.
When people ask me what is global mobility, I always tell them global mobility is moving my colleagues around the world. And usually for the vast majority of people, that suffices for them. But when I really get into more detail, it's really more about talent strategy and helping support the business and making sure that people are in the right place at the right time, and help supporting them to achieve their business goals.
We are the support structure to the business to enable them to achieve their day-to-day activities as well as their long-term strategic goals. We do this by identifying the feasibility of a relocation, consulting with them to build up a ideal package for an individual based on their circumstances, based on the business needs, ensuring that it is within the business's budgets. And by doing this, we're enabling the business to get their key talent to the right locations at the right time.
One of the great things you can do to minimize risk, I think, is really understanding the locations that you operate in and creating clear guidance around the timing and expectations and making that available to your internal customers. We've got different tools and resources today to talk to the business about, hey, here's who we can send, here's who we can send for how long, here's some additional considerations. So I think that's one way that you can mitigate risk. I think the other is having a really great partner in the immigration space, because laws are changing all of the time. I think a lot of us have seen that this past year. And so it's so important to have a partner that's staying up to date and will help bring to you when there's something that you should be aware of, additional timing, additional document, new salary requirement, etc., so that you can prepare, but then you can also go back and educate and communicate to your stakeholders that might be moving employees to that location.
So when I think of global mobility, I think of getting the right people in the right places at the right time. And ultimately, global mobility should be used as a talent strategy to attract and retain diverse talent. So while mobility professionals definitely are the gatekeepers and coordinate a lot of the logistics and make sure that we're staying compliant with immigration and tax and things like that, we're also a strategic partner. So we basically advise and counsel and educate businesses and come up with creative solutions to help businesses manage and meet their goals. And we also empower employees. And the mobility program is empowering employees to advance their career. You will find that in a lot of global companies, global mobility opportunities is important for employees as it relates to their career advancement and growth.
What we have seen in the past that we were considering not having that many moves with all the technology that we currently have. For instance, the taping that we are having today, that you are in the UK, I'm in Mexico, and in the lifetime, and thinking about this 30 years ago, it was just like a kind of a dream. So with all of that might be or something that it was quite a challenge. But then we have moved to the side that is a part of global mobility, to have all these connections and interactions around the world, which is basically what we do with global mobility. But what we have seen is that we still need the resources moving from one country to another, and that's something that is not going to change. I guess the main challenge that we have, even from inside from a corporation or as a vendor, it's the budget challenges, because we try to think that this is going to be cheaper when it's actually not going to be cheap. So at some moment we have to go back and reflect about how important it is to have a cost-effective structure, but still is not going to be a cheap one.
So my definition of global mobility is really, the act of helping an individual or an individual and his or her family move from one country to another. I know that there is a lot of domestic relocations, but my experience is primarily cross-border movements. So it's anything and everything that entails immigration, tax, pensions, social securities, banking, housing, shipment of goods. The act of helping somebody or somebody in their family move from one location to another. And so I think it's a very middle woman, humanistic, empathetic role that requires a lot of effective communication and active listening, because you're helping somebody through perhaps one of the most stressful yet exciting times of their lives.
So I believe global mobility can ensure its relevance by aligning its strategies with the business objectives, and as well as leveraging technology to enhance operational efficiency and also improve customer or employee experience.